The jobbers knew that they were jobbers. Job guys. It's not a shame to be a job guy. You need job guys.
The Job Guys. What the world isn't watching.
What's happening, everybody? The Job Guys back with you one more time. Nitro Nick still in studio for the summer. As always, Sloke is here as well. We thank you for being here. And a little bit different this time, Nick. Something that we may have done it a long, long time ago. We're going to do it again because it is an interesting time of year. We're kind of post-Roman Reigns, post-Bloodline. We've got the Cena full heel turn here now.
You got it.
We're going to kind of give a state of the union of the business. Mainly WWE. We're going to get into some AEW as well because they have a lot going on as well. But maybe halfway through the year here, June's coming to an end, a state of the union. Where is the business as we currently sit? Now, we're going to do things a little bit different as well. Normally, I'm firing off the questions and whatnot. You got a bunch of questions for me.
Wrote some up.
That I don't really know what the heck's coming. I have a little bit of an idea, but don't really know what you're going to fire at me. And there you go. You're going to hit me up to see what I think about what's going on.
And I hope people are okay with this. I've never hosted a show, asked you questions like this. So, gosh, I hope it goes well. Let's see how it goes, man.
And also stay tuned because about halfway through, we came up with this idea because we both were at Smackdown, the Pipe Bomb 2, delivered by John Cena in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We were there. So that really, maybe a changing of the way that whole heel turn has gone so far. So anyway, that gave us the idea. But then, and usually thought we it was a very good show. SummerSlam So 95 review. Best shows we've ever been that at. it was so we're gonna, we could make fun of Bertha Faye. That's funny. There's some funny things. There's nothing funny here at all.
My first show was in 1991. I don't know when yours was. So
we've got 30-some plus years worth of shows to go
kind of
through
jokes
here.
are been some good ones.
You've been to some good ones. I think
This
you've
is
been
so
to
bad.
a few more than me.
Generic,
But,
really, more than
I
anything.
I think
Even
I went
worse
to
than
them
bad. It was
earlier
just-
than you.
Yeah, you
so
might have.
I think
Yeah,
I did.
it's
So I think I
boring,
attended some earlier.
non-eventful.
So once we do the State of the Union,
Me
then
and
we'll
you have
get
talked
into that,
about this
each of
for a
our top
long
fives
time.
as well. All right, Nick.
I don't
let's
even
go.
think you
Fire
can
'em
really
off. What do you got
defend
right out of the
you-
gate here?
You know,
So
a lot
right
of
out
people
of the
say
gate,
there's
right?
two sides to
came up
everything.
with
this.
If I come out or you come and say
about
1995, and
the
I'm not
three
just talking
best
WWE, I'm
or
talking
three
around the
worst
board.
people in the
whole
WWE.
business.
I'm calling
It's
this
the worst
three up,
year
three
in
down.
professional
Who
wrestling.
are the three male, female?
I don't ever. I
choose
will
three
never
of each
watch
or
this
three- or
pay-per-view
three-
again.
no.
Any three.
There is not a
who
chance.
are
And I can't
rising
think I'd
up
ever
to
watch
the main
that
event
SummerSlam
level
that we reviewed
and
again.
three that are dropping
God
rapidly.
forbid
you're
Can
going to
they
make
be
us
at the main
review
event already, but
11,
maybe it's like
which
a
we
hot
said
knot
was the
kind of
second
thing.
worst
Yeah,
Mania
but
of all
I-
time.
yeah, if
And
they're-
not by
if they're
much.
well, if you got
know,
someone
so
who's maybe moving
this
up
is just
to a Roman
brutal
Reigns
year,
type,
and
if
it
they're
stinks
moving
too
up
because
hotter than they
me and
were,
you
had
but
really
I'm
gotten
kinda
looking
into
for some,
wrestling at this point,
somebody
and
who
we did like
you
it,
didn't
and we
expect.
did like
maybe you
some of
think
the
a Braun
characters,
Breaker, or maybe
they're
on the flip
so
side of
much
Bailey, or something like
It's
that, who are
unreal.
dropping.
And I was still watching back then, unfortunately.
But
I
I
know
was
some
curious,
of our other
who
friends
would
had
be your
gotten
three
out.
up, three
We were
down?
about to Well, fall let's out start completely with after this. I was still I watching asked at why I this asked point because I knew knew it was bad think then. the John Cena but yeah, heel shoot, turn has going been a back and massive watching it now. disappointment. But I do smokes, and think thank after God that for SmackDown these on guys Friday, right here, the NWO, going a into year the CM later, Punk match coming out, Austin Bomb 2, I think it gave that new life. So I would say later he's because if we had to Cena watch some I of would this say he's for up the next because amount I of don't time, know that holy he cow, and was. some of the guys we're going to get before into that it right so away. He's definitely
I heard a lot of
some of the
mumbling.
guys they
No,
were
not
trying
just
to
you.
make stars.
I've seen posts
They
online.
weren't
A
gonna
lot
work
of
out.
people
They just
are.
weren't
I
gonna
don't
work.
want to say hating completely
when someone
down
brought
like
them
it's the
into
word,
the creative room,
but they're just disappointed.
Yes.
How did you not
No,
fire
'cause you
someone when
didn't
they were
get
like,
all he's
yeah,
been doing is
Savio
ripping
Vega?
out the
Yeah, he
brands.
looks like
And
a
now
title.
finally, we got
You're
something
done.
different.
Yeah,
And it was
like,
I thought
which
it was
title?
awesome.
Yes.
So I would
It
definitely
just-
say
a lot of
he
these
is
just
up.
bad
Jacob
characters,
Fry,
bad
too,
gimmicks.
is hot,
You know,
man.
some of these guys
He's
could
as
wrestle.
hot as could
There's
be.
no
He's
doubt
up
about
there.
that.
You know,
You've
you see
always
it
said
on
been a big
TV.
fan of Hakushi's.
He's
his
on
ring
fire.
ability.
He's on fire
but
right
not
now.
the
So I
gimmick,
would
man.
definitely
You know, it
say
just-
Jacob Fry too
rough time.
has got to be.
So
in
here we
there.
are.
Ironically,
And,
we are man, in
the
third one
Philadelphia.
is tough. I don't know that there's any women. Naomi is definitely, people like her. They like what they're doing. I don't know if I'd put her at like a number 3, but people do like what she's
Well,
doing.
I give you this. I don't know. but she's moved. If you listed the wrestlers, I could see you defending that. If you listed the wrestlers where they were 6, 8, 10 months ago, she has moved up notches, I think, further than anybody else in the female department.
And I will throw another female in there because I think it's along the same lines because she's finally getting the big push. Jade's getting the big push, so let's put her in there.
So
as,
a tie for those two ladies so you did. We got 4 coming in there. Okay.
Yeah, let's put those two in there.
Who's sinking, Ryan? Who are you like, this is not working, they need to go away for a bit, they need a gimmick change?
Bailey, and we've been saying that for 2 years now. She's there. You're not going to like this. I don't like the Seth faction at all.
I saw more of that online. People, I saw a few more people saying that.
Well,
I still do. But.
I sent you this picture, and you may have seen it online. It's like a meme or whatever, but it's got 3 lines, and it's Seth's 3 somewhat factions. And the first one was 10 years ago.
The 2
and it was
clowns.
Jamie
Noble.
Jamie Noble and them. And they're in their suits, and they're walking out with Seth. Then 5 years ago was AOP, and they're in their suits. Now we are literally, except Heyman's there. Here we go again. You put Breaker and you put Bronson in suits. You have them walk out. They don't talk. They still haven't talked. We don't know why they're with them. We don't know anything. And we don't know why Bronson and Seth are together. So anyway, that kind of, when you see it, boom, 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 right next to each other, you're like, holy. Obviously, I think this has much more upside
than the other two.
Yeah.
But I also, they've lost Breaker and Bronson. I don't like when you just start putting a group together. They got to win. Don't let them take pins, man.
No, I don't like that at all. And number 3, this is nothing new either. Charlotte's just stale, man. I mean, and it's no different today than it was at WrestleMania or any other time. She's just stale.
She certainly is.
I don't know what you do. So yeah, I guess those are just a few.
No,
anyway.
those are good picks.
But dude, go back to WrestleMania 34, and this is 8 years ago. WrestleMania 34, they wanted Asuka. They did not want her.
Yeah.
So this is not like some new development, man. People just, they've been over her forever.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
All right, what else we got here?
All right, let's go to question number 2. Ryan, is there a point to the King of the Ring tournament today? It doesn't take place in one night. The King and Queen gimmicks have been terrible. I mean, for a title shot now, no feud. Is there a point to this tournament? Can you revive it?
That's the problem. And no, it's been for a shot at the title for quite a while, whenever they've done it. But that's the problem. You already have the Royal Rumble, where you get the main event or whatever, title shot at WrestleMania.
Elimination Chamber.
You've got the Elimination Chamber where the other guy gets it. Now you got the King of the Ring.
Money in the Bank.
Gets it. Money in the Bank. And we are always fair on this. We rip on AEW all the time because they just have all these tournaments and you get a title shot based on a tournament and it has nothing to do with like storylines or anything like that. Mm-hmm. They're turning into that every month now. You win this match, you get it. There's no storyline now. It may end up if, Cody against Cena. Oh, that makes sense. Things like that. But no, I don't want every single one of every month there's some sort of tournament to get. No, I want storyline development.
You want someone to put the arrogance right in the guy's face and we get going, man.
Yeah, you can have these. You definitely can. I just don't want them every freaking month. So, no, I don't like it.
Do you think it hurts or helps it that it takes place over an elongated period versus one night?
Well, and I get why you always hear Bruce Pritchard say tournaments don't work. Tournaments
can't
don't
advertise.
Work. You can't advertise them. They don't work at all. So I totally understand that. No problem. But personally, I would like to see it. But again, I don't need to see a tournament every year either.
No,
I don't need to see it every year.
Because you're almost like the Rumble. You run out of things to do. I mean, and the WWE, we already have a problem with buys. Every tournament, there's
Well, now you can't have a King of the Ring tournament and a Queen of the Ring tournament the same night, or you'd have an 8-hour pay-per-view.
Correct.
And who has those nowadays,
We have 2-day pay.
Oh, wait, yeah. Or, 6 hours on one night.
I think, and I know people are going to not be happy with me saying that maybe. I don't like NXT. I think
we've talked about
it's
this.
too much on the writers. You're giving away storylines that I'm not seeing. And from what the ratings and the numbers look like, almost a third of your audience is not seeing,
right,
if not more. Some people like the show up regardless of pop. They don't. Some people they don't last. Any of these superstars they're getting a little better.
Bailey is the big one.
Yeah.
We missed the whole hugger thing because we weren't watching NXT, and it was supposedly the hottest thing ever. Well, by the time it made it on the big show, it'd already been around for a couple of years, and
I don't have any idea.
The what do you call it? The aura was gone.
Yeah, gone.
Like it was already gone and used and done with.
So
you'd have to do the same angles again, which half your crowd had already seen.
Yes, I don't want to watch it again if I'm watching it. Do you think this would be better if they went back to an Ohio?
I don't think you can now.
I don't either.
No, you can't now because you're getting
got sponsors.
750,000 viewers on the CW. So people are watching this. You've
got
sponsors. You've got all that stuff, that money coming in. No, you can't get rid of it now.
I don't. I look at this people always like to say, and he's a big favorite of mine too. You can't have a Mr. Perfect anymore. You can't have a guy that's
going to lose. Yeah,
he's already lost on NXT. We can't get a guy coming in. I mean, and you got. I mean, I guess you had Asuka, but
she lost her first big match when she came up.
She did, but
and hasn't gotten up since.
Has not gotten up since. So you can't get rid of it, but.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it makes sense. I mean, especially with the women, and we can sit here and rip on the women's division all we want. I don't think it's good right now, but man, every one of their girls go down the list. They've come through NXT. They have been great. Bianca and Charlotte, and go down the list. All these girls, some of which, the ones I just named, were not on the indies.
Correct.
They learned everything in NXT. So they have done an excellent job as far as that goes. You just, you blow your load a little bit in the minor leagues.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that. How about this one? And this one I want to say, especially start merging with AEW here a little bit for the fans out there. Belts, Ryan.
There's a couple.
Has this gotten ridiculous? Everyone has one, and to me that ruins them. Dude. I've even heard more are coming, possibly a triple belt in the WWE. Ryan, I turn on AEW, and I don't always watch it. Sometimes I try to watch it when I can. It's not for me, but if you watch every segment, there's a gosh darn belt, and who is that? I can't tell you what belts Mercedes Moné has.
Right.
She's got a lot of them.
She's got like 14 belts.
I don't have any idea. Like maybe some of them don't match. Like the Owen Hart one isn't really a belt you defend.
Right. It's like winning the King of the Ring.
I mean, can we go back from this, Ryan?
You could, and they're trying to at this weekend coming up. All in or next month coming up. They are combining. Omega and Okada's belts.
Okay.
They are, and it's going to be called the Unified Title. I don't know how they came up with that name. They are combining those two belts, which they've both changed the name of those. That's the other thing. They've changed the name of both of those belts at least twice. And so now they're combining
in WWE.
So they're trying to do that. You could do it here in WWE as well. I don't think people would be that mad. They have gone from split world titles to one, and then split them again. So they could do it. But, I'm sitting here looking at the roster right now, and they have all their champions listed before they get into the men's roster, women's roster. And, dude, it took me like 3 times scrolling
Holy
to
crap.
get through all the
Yeah,
champs.
you are still scrolling.
Yeah, and it does count NXT as well, which I
What?
don't count
No.
that as main roster. That's a different thing. But there's also 6 champions on that.
We're going to keep going with a little bit more AEW here for you, Ryan. And I'm not trying to pop shots. AEW, I've watched their numbers, Ryan, and they are really, I mean, they're neck and neck, if not losing to NXT recently.
Usually losing.
Does AEW have a superstar or stars or a possible story that you see could develop that could make them a viable competitor and at least start moving up over the 1 million mark?
Excellent question.
There are light years away from 1 million. And I know that there's different views out there of how many people are watching on Max, depending on who you talk to. It's 250,000 to 500,000 a week. I don't buy that at all. I don't buy that for a freaking second, but whatever. Is there a storyline? I don't want to say no, because you never know.
Right.
Because look at Stone Cold. Who on earth thought that the Ringmaster or Stone Cold or Stunning Steve or whoever was going to turn into what he turned into? What? Then they were going to be smart enough to put him against the Boss. So you never know. Like, something like that could come out of the freaking blue, and it happened before, so you never know. At the same time, do I believe Tony Khan has that ability to come up with something like that? No, I don't. What? Do I believe the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and whoever else have the ability to come up with something that good? No, I don't.
They would take a dookie on the floor.
So it could happen. But you know what? You would say the same thing about Vince McMahon in 1995-96 when you're rolling Duke the Drumster and Mantar and all these guys out there. Like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing.
Lightning can strike.
So you never know. So I will say on that, possibly. Yeah,
Is
it
there
could happen.
anybody on
As
that
for
show
wrestler,
that you think's being
no.
booked incorrectly
No,
or could be done?
all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
But is there somebody, if you look at that show, if you were booking them, Ryan, could you make them
Probably
their Roman
but
Reigns?
I don't,
or their,
no, there's nobody like that. There's nobody like that. I think the closest thing to it could be Will Ospreay, because he can talk. I know he was worried about his talking when he came in. He's like, I've never had to cut.
No, he's not
promo every
bad. He
week.
gets in
And
his own way.
Yeah, he does well. Like, it's not that bad at all. Just his style of match, which is the style of a lot of the dudes, is not for me. So I think that gets in his way. Again, it goes back to the angles. I don't know that they are capable of an angle that would take a Stone Cold from here through the roof, you know.
I wonder, too, if
I don't know
like
if
you
they
see
have that.
people, because
No.
like Mariah May, like what I was saying is, it's almost like they're maybe the Oakland Athletics as well. Like, if someone starts to fizzle,
Get 'em good.
Here, I'm going to take them,
Yep.
right? Here comes the WWE. And
Well, if you look at our awards last year, I had Mariah May Wrestler of the Year.
Well, where's
and
she
all
at
the
now?
other people were like, oh, it's Tony Storm. It's Tony Storm. I'm like, nah, I think Mariah is where it's at. And now she's in NXT, and we'll see how she does there. But, yeah, I don't see anybody there. You know, none of the old group, because we've seen them now for over 5 years, being the Elite and whoever else. None of them. I don't see it. And I think, you know, maybe Ospreay. But no, I don't see anybody else that I'm like, I can't wait to see more of this dude. No, not at all.
what can AEW do to become more mainstream and competitive? And would doing that cost them fans who don't like the mainstream? So
Well,
would
I
it be
think they-
just as negative if they did?
I think they've done that a little bit. You know, I think they tried to become WWE light a little bit, and at some point they still are. But you keep hearing about hey, we're getting our mojo back, and we're getting this back, and you know, we're bringing back the feeling, or whatever it is that they say all the time. We're bringing that feeling back, because they are going more toward just matches. If you saw the Arena Mexico show a couple of weeks ago, that was literally just match. And maybe they had, like, I think MJF may have spoken on that show, but they had no, I don't see him being a main, no. And you can tell me I'm wrong. Hey, he's in Happy Gilmore too. As currently constructed, no.
Yeah.
I don't see it. He's a one-trick pony. He reads out of his 101 joke book, and that's all he can do.
I agree.
So, but they have gone back to matches, and we're the best wrestling, whatever. And I don't think that really helps either. That's not going to make me want to watch, because I don't, as much as I appreciate a Will Ospreay match, that I don't want to see that every single night. When I see it here and there, I'm like, wow, this is really good. But I don't want to see guys kick out of nukes and kick out at one and no sell 5 straight, name it, whatever it is, Spanish flies or destroyers, whatever they are. I don't want to see you constantly kicking out of this stuff. That's not for me, man. So,
You said WrestleMania 3, if every match is Savage Steamboat, there is no Savage
and there is
Steamboat.
no Savage Steamboat. I don't think these people understand that. I don't think they get it whatsoever. And you can't have an entire roster of Hulk Hogan's. Just like
That
you
wouldn't
can't
work
have,
either. No.
if you have 14 Andres,
He's
then
not
you
Andre.
got no
He's not
Andre.
Andre. Yeah.
And it's same thing. They don't get, why does Savage Steamboat stand out so much? Because it was different for the time. You know, now it's probably just a match.
Right.
But then it stood out. If every single match was that fast paced and that many false finishes and all that, okay, then you don't ever have it.
All right. I've said this and get your opinion on this. I do believe we are almost in a mirror image of 20 years ago, being that I think the product seemed better because we were riding off the guys from the war era.
Yeah.
They were still, you still had your Angle, you still had Hogan's, you still had Austin's or The Rock. And
You're talking like ruthless aggression era.
at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
You know, these guys are coming in. We all think where is wrestling right now on a scale of 1 to 10? Are we riding still off the bloodline? Because is the product getting stale, or is that just me?
I think it's been stale. I think it was stale, a lot of it, during the Bloodline era. I was watching to see Roman, and if he wasn't there for whatever reason, or there was something else going on, it was like, I'm going to watch, but it's okay. I think it's been stale for over a year. Roman's not around enough. Him coming back, I don't think was good. I think they botched since he's been back. I do not think it's been very good at all as far as his storylines go. Now, I was super excited for the Cena heel turn. Thought it wasn't that great until the pipe bomb. Now I'm like, okay. But once again, that's one storyline. I think the women have been struggling big time for quite a while.
Someone needs to
now.
step up. Like, and maybe grab that brass
Right,
gold ringer,
grab the
because it
brass
seems
ring.
like they're hitting a cap and no one can get past Bianca, Becky, whether you like her or not, Charlotte. Like, we need someone to step up and join their level, you know. And they got people, I think, that can do it.
Yeah, it just, and the storylines have not been great at all. And I think they have not been very good. I think Cody's fine. There's not much to him to me. He's very vanilla. Maybe going back up against Cena will help. I'm not quite sure. You know, Jay gets the crowd going, gets everybody excited. We were there when he was
certainly
are.
are.
Man, the place is going crazy. But then once again, then you have to turn the mic on, then the match has to start. And I don't think he's a terrible wrestler, but you know, it's the entrance, you know. So I think there's a lot of, it doesn't stink at all, but yeah, I think you're right on where you're like, we have peaked. I don't think we're going down, you know, a cliff or anything, but I do think it's slowly dropping
We're
back.
definitely in 90 or 91 here, 92. Well, it's maybe not 95 yet, but it ain't 87.
No.
Okay, he's back.
Who, Vince?
No. I think now he gets crapped on way more than he should. I don't think this guy gets enough credit for people that weren't there during the Monday Night Wars.
And that, of course,
Goldberg.
is B. Brian Blair.
And that jabroni Brian Blair.
Goldberg. Here's my question.
You know I was a huge Goldberg fan.
Good, bad, and the ugly of his career. He had a WCW run. He had a WWE run, first time about a year long. Comes back over the last so many years as a part-timer.
Yep.
Ryan, where would you, if you're ranking Bill Goldberg, you don't have to give me exactly, 1 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50. Does he even make the top 50? I say anybody that doesn't have him in the top 50, you're insane.
Yeah, he's definitely top 50. 25 would be tough because his runs were always so short. And even the WCW run, where I loved him, I had his poster on my wall in college. You know, we'll talk about it when we go into shows we've been at. We were at the one together where he jackhammered the Giant.
We're going to go into this.
The entire Van Andel Arena is going nuts. I yelled so loud, something in my head snapped. I felt it. It popped. I just haven't been right the same since. Yeah, and this guy is sitting there like this.
Okay, I was NWO for life. He's jackhammering the Giant. I'm not cheering this guy. I don't care if he's got a Ford F-150 up in the jackhammer. If the Ford F-150 is driven by Kyle Petty and he's got an NWO shirt on, I'm cheering for the Ford F-150, man. Yeah, that was me.
For life. Yeah. Oh, it was hilarious, man. But, dude, the guy was on another level. Now, it may have only been for, like, less than a year, but he was so big. And when he came back, you saw it. People still liked him. Yeah. Now, you hear, and there's jeers when they're like, really, again? Okay, again. Because I think people are actually afraid he's going to win the title and retire. That's not doing that. That's John Cena's storyline right now.
If he wins the title, Seth Rollins is hitting music will hit immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's Cena's gimmick right now. I'm retiring with the belt. They're not just going to give it to him on a one-off.
Right.
And if he does, Seth is cashing in right that second. So
let me ask you.
I've always liked the guy.
I did too.
Am I mad about him being back now? No, because I knew it was going to happen. We knew it was going to be Gunther.
They set it up.
We knew it was going to be Gunther. It's a one-off. It's on a Saturday night's main event. Give him his goodbye, and we'll be done with it.
Let me ask.
Whatever, dude. It ain't.
Let me ask you this then, because I think there's a parallel with these two guys because they kind of have maybe similar careers. Is he bigger than the Warrior? Is he rate higher than the... Because couldn't I say they both came in hot, not super elongated careers, had little stints where they came back?
I think, that's a good comparison because they both, sold out a dome.
Neither one are known for their work rate.
Neither one are known for their work rate. They were all energy. Everything was energy. That was Goldberg's whole thing, kicking himself, punching himself in the head, banging his head into the wall, spear, jackhammer.
Both have been the top guy for a hot minute.
The top guy for a minute, and then they kind of disappeared. The thing Goldberg does have, though, his comebacks, you can say what you want about them, they were pretty successful, or at least somewhat successful. The Warriors were not.
No, they were not.
And also, Goldberg's on other stuff. He's been on other TV shows. You turn on Motor Trend, whatever show, and he's on it. Mm-hmm. So, and he's still a dude. My dad knows who Bill Goldberg is and watches whenever he's on some car show.
That's a tough one, though, because I think the Warrior passes the mom's test, too. I think people remember the Ultimate Warrior.
Our moms.
I guess that's true. Yeah, if you're,
if you're 30 and under, your mom doesn't know.
He hasn't been anywhere. I mean, other than negative for rants that. Yeah,
right. Which I don't think normal people know those either.
No.
Only wrestling people know those. But that is a very good comparison, though.
He's not that bad. He's not as bad as some of these guys.
Here's the problem. These people, if you're not Will Ospreay, you can't wrestle.
Okay.
And you brought this up, and it's very true. Like with Hogan. Yeah, Hogan can't do it. Hogan's 6'8", 300 pounds. Hogan is not going to be doing Frankenstein.
I don't want to see
Hogan's not going to be doing acai moonsaults and suicide dives and all this other. He's not going to be. He's 300 pounds, 6'8", and then maybe somebody will go, well, The Undertaker did. The Undertaker was a basketball player in college. The Undertaker was a much better athlete, and The Undertaker is one of one.
But again, if Hogan does an acai, he kills Rey Mysterio. Not in the match.
Right.
But why? We've said
Why do
this.
I want to see the little guy
Kevin
do it?
Owens is the worst threat to me if he's healthy to Lucha Libre guys because he can do everything you can do.
Yep.
And he weighs 200 pounds more than you,
Yep.
or 150.
Well, dude, and they're not as tall as Hogan or whatever, but Roman Reigns can do suicide dives. Drew McIntyre can do suicide
and
dives.
it looks way more devastating. I would rather have Rey Mysterio run at me full speed and hit me than Drew McIntyre run at me full speed.
And once
hit me.
again, you know who wasn't doing suicide dives? Ricky Steamboat.
No.
You know, like, guy, because no one did that stuff back then.
No.
Whatever, that's that rant.
All
about
right.
there. All right, now let's get into what we like to do all the time. We like to do top 10 lists, top 5 lists. We were both at SmackDown, as we said at the top of the show, when Cena dropped his pipe bomb on CM Punk. We both thought it was a very good show. At the very least, obviously, a memorable segment that'll go down, I would say, on one of my all-time, one of the best things I've ever seen in person. Whether you think the whole show was or not, I thought it was pretty good. You had the semifinals of the King of the Ring. You had some other good things that went on. So let's see if that made one of our top 5 lists. Nick, since I've been doing all the answering questions here, we'll start with, and some of these are going to be the same because Nick and I were at these shows together a lot of the time. And sometimes we were at the same show before we were friends and didn't know it.
Sure.
Let you go at number 5. What do you got? Your 5th best show you have ever been in attendance for?
The Royal Rumble, you're going to have to help me on the year, Ryan. Triple H wins. He
16.
It had some huge moments. I got to see a title change. The world title changed hands. Now, I'm not saying the Rumble was the greatest thing in the history, but I got to see the
It
world.
was on the line in that Rumble,
It's
like
only happened
1992.
twice, right?
Yep.
It's only happened twice, and I was in attendance for that. So that was kind of cool. And anytime you see the world title change hands, you are in there for a history-making show.
Yep.
And the other part of that one is I love this guy. I used to watch AJ Styles. I bought a couple TNA Impact, whatever it was called back then, pay-per-views.
NWA TNA.
When they were just doing pay-per-views. And I'm not saying I'm the first AJ Styles fan. I would never do that. I just really started to like the guy, thought he was awesome. And for me to be there when this guy debuted in the WWE was really a special moment for me. It was really cool. And I went nuts because I didn't know he was coming. I had no clue.
No.
The music hit and I saw the thing hit on the screen. I'm like, oh my God. I was like a 5-year-old kid again.
I remember I knew he was going to be there because he had wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom, right before that, and word had broken on the internet that he was going to be there. And I hinted at something to you, and you didn't understand what I was getting at.
I'm glad I didn't.
And then,
I'm glad I didn't.
boom.
I didn't. I wasn't checking the internet because again, I wasn't.
And it's Japan. You're not watching Japan. You're not paying attention to Japan.
I know I'm not a good wrestling fan, but and it was great. I don't know, Ryan. 2016 Royal Rumble. It was cool to be there. The title change, the AJ Styles debut, and being at a Rumble. My 5th coolest show I've ever been to.
All right, at number 5, I have WCW Monday Night Nitro, the night after World War III, 1997.
Okay.
Saginaw, Michigan, at the Saginaw Civic Center at the time. We decided to go last second, Brian and I, who hosted the show when you got sick here earlier in the week
Thank you,
after
Brian.
SmackDown.
Thank you.
He and I decided to go because we were at World War III at the Palace the night before, and Hogan surprised everybody and showed up. He wasn't scheduled to be there, wasn't supposed to be there. He showed up. So then Monday, we leave school and we're like, bro, if he was there, he's going to be at Nitro tonight. He's got to be there tonight. So we left school, drove up to Saginaw, which is like 40, 45 minutes away. We're 17 years old. That's a long way to go when you're 17.
Yeah.
We drive up there. Again, there's no Ticketmaster.com or anything back then. I still wasn't even on the internet yet at this time. I was a month away from my first log.
You hadn't even got mail.
Yeah, hey, not yet. Not yet, I didn't. And so we went up to buy tickets at the box office. We got there 4 hours early because we got there right after school, and we're like, hey, you got any tickets left? You got any left? And they're like, yeah, where do you want to sit? And we're like, we'll just take whatever. We just want to get in. We're like, well, where do you want to sit? We're like, what do you mean? We got third row, floor center. We're like, excuse me? Third row, center of the ring. You can see us. Go on the Peacock and watch it right now. You can see us the whole stinking time. We are on the hard cam side.
I need a date.
20
Well, Trish Stratus is here.
Yeah, $23 to sit there. Those seats now are like thousands, you know.
Got to give up a kidney.
23 plus 1,000.
Yeah.
And $23. We sit there. We could not believe it. So we're up there. We're in the third row. It's awesome. The show starts with Hogan coming out along with the NWO. I was a big Buff Bagwell fan at that point. That's when he was hot as could be. He kept beating Lex Luger after Luger was the world champ. So he was hot. I had like a Buff sign or something. He pointed at me. So you're like, oh, this is, the greatest thing. Now, you're like, that's not the greatest thing ever. But back then it was. Buff fought Jericho. Hennig fought the Boss Man. Macho fought Disco. And then the main event. It's only like 2 minutes long. But Hogan fights the Giant. Now, you go through those names I just listed. Are they good matches? No, not really. Are they very short and whatever? But those are like our favorite wrestlers
Did
ever.
they drop Sting?
And that's this show
I was
ends
there.
with Kevin Nash. You were in college in Saginaw at that point.
Yep. I was there.
So this match goes 2.5 minutes. Nash comes out dressed as Sting. He's got a baseball bat. He hits the Giant in the hand with the bat. Then the real Sting comes. And he goes straight through the mat. They drop a dummy from the ceiling right through the ring. And that's how the show ends. It was awesome. And the experience and what the backstory I told you, we just went at the last second.
That's awesome.
The fact that we did that, it was great.
I got the whole section mad at me there because I kept telling them that was Sting and they need medical attention down there. And I had a couple.
Please send.
I was like, please, God, get someone down there. They dropped it, And
I don't think he's
and of course,
breathing.
people are like, that's not real. I'm like, it's Sting.
How do you know?
How do you know?
He's under the ring.
Yeah. It was
great. Freaking great.
It was great.
Dude, that show was
awesome. I dressed up as Hollywood for that show. I
Oh,
painted my face.
Got to. Dude, one other thing that happened that night, and I still have the papers. That's when they ran the preceding announcements paid for by the New World Order, and it was the Zbyszko one. Zbyszko. You don't want none of me. You couldn't even.
You still have the paper?
Easy. In fact, I'll put up a picture of it. I just found it actually like a month or two ago.
And get that thing framed or something.
But yeah, but then they started dropping paper from the ceiling, and it was Bischoff going like this with his foot on Zbyszko, and then Zbyszko got mad and he got on the mic and all that. That was that night too. That's one of my favorite, dude.
Gosh, I forgot all about that. Might have to rethink.
There you
That's
go.
a great night.
I got it at 5, dude. What do you got at 4?
Well, I'm going to stick with the NWO, and this was one that's kind of special for me because you had to live here to see it, Ryan. This is a house show.
Going.
Hogan Sting in a steel cage.
Steel cage.
Not only do I have that, two of my greatest favorites, I got to see Bret Hart fight Mr. Perfect.
Yep.
Well, Kurt Hennig at the time because he was in WCW.
Yep.
You had DDP on the card. You had Booker T on the card. Ric Flair, I think, wrestles Scott Norton. It was an awesome show, but those two big matches for me, and both finished. Both had wins. Sting, Scorpion dropped Hogan, I believe, for the victory in the cage. And Bret Hart, I believe, made Hennig submit to the sharpshooter.
And it was supposed to be
Scott Hall
against Scott Hall, and that's when Scott Hall was on hiatus there for a little bit. So and it was supposed to be Flair Hennig, who had been feuding for quite a while at that point. But my gosh, you can't. Our consolation prize is Brad against Perfect. That's pretty good.
That's a dream. That is literally a dream match for me.
Yeah.
And so is Sting Hogan. I mean, Sting Hogan are two of the biggest names in WCW history. And for me, getting to see them title on the line, it was up for grabs, Probably knew it wasn't going to change at a house show. But this is was there that little
still Hogan Sting.
little chance that maybe it could? I didn't. So it was really cool. And it was a cage. I hadn't seen Sting versus Hogan in a cage. This match is 1,000,000 times better than their Starrcade match.
Way better.
I wish that would have been the Starrcade
Right.
match. If that was, maybe WCW is different. But yeah, house show at the Palace.
Yeah, I got
1998.
Yeah,
I believe it
98 end of March 1998. I've got it on my honorable mention list. And dude, we always heard WCW, like, none of the big stars ever went to the house shows. And this, you have the guys you already mentioned. Goldberg is there.
Yes,
right before he wins.
Flynn or
Jerry
something.
Flynn.
There you go. There.
And that's right before he wins the U.S. belt.
Well,
He's there. Benoit's there.
Yeah.
Jericho's there. La Parka and Psychosis are there, which I know you're a
They
big
put
fan
on a
of.
good match. I do remember
yeah.
that match being good. And I will tell you, you're not lying, because you were with me. We went to, I think, was it the IMA? There was a 6-man tag main event. But we
The
were
next
really
summer.
bummed because the stars weren't there.
Yeah.
I think
Sting was there.
Sting.
Booker T was there, and that was
But
like
I think they put the two of them in the same
In a tag match.
match.
Yep.
It wasn't that great.
No.
But yeah.
No, it wasn't. Number 4, and this probably is recency biased. I got SmackDown from the other night. If you want to hear my entire explanation for why, go watch our show that got put up a couple of weeks ago there, our post show from there. The biggest thing, and it's going to sound contradictory for another thing that's not on my list later on in the night, which I'll get into. Now, it may just be the Cena promo, but that promo was so good.
Legendary.
And because of who it was against, the guy I don't like
Yep.
and never have liked,
Job,
it
not a
was
fan.
like the ultimate, this is great. So, yeah. And like we said, they had the King of the Ring qualifying matches. There were other good segments out there as well. Jacob Fatu. I thought LA Knight really did a good job. And I'm not the biggest LA Knight guy in the world, but great promo, great segment. I thought that all worked. I had a great time. And once again, we decided to go like last minute because Cena was fighting a match. We're like, if something good happens and we're not there, we're going to be pissed. Well, look what happened. Something good happened.
If we would have missed. Oh, my.
Dude, if we weren't there, could you imagine if we were, which we probably would have been sitting
Right here. Right over
and
here
we would
watching.
have just been like
Why didn't we go?
kicking ourselves.
Yeah.
Yep. So there you go. That's it for that one. How about number 3, Nick? What do you
Piggyback
got?
3 is last Friday for me. Ryan, it's not about the whole card. There are moments. I don't know that anybody remembers, once time goes, the whole card. There are moments in history. This moment will be remembered for
so.
a very long time.
I think so.
I mean, you look at the amount of views that segment has already gotten. You had people that walked into this building cheering CM Punk. All I heard, I didn't hear one iota.
He said it. The tide is changing. He said it in the promo.
Everybody was cheering Cena. I mean, me and you got to sit there, and we did just josh and have fun, and the people around us, God bless them, were
I was
good
dead
too.
serious.
But but we had fun, and we got to kind of, this is what the job guys have been saying about. Yeah, we told you. What have I been telling you for years about this guy? Yeah, what have I been telling you?
Heenan on Hogan.
Yes, this is the job guys on Punk, man. It was, sorry for Punk fans, it was so good because it was true.
Yep.
The words that were coming out of your mouth, your values change more than my T-shirts.
Yep.
It was awesome. Number 3, I don't need to go, but you already said enough. SmackDown last Friday night. You better believe it.
Number 3 for me was Nitro Nick's birthday. March 11th, 2002. The go-home Raw for WrestleMania 18 at the Joe Louis Arena. This was like the greatest week of my life. I had just gotten back from spring break at Club La Vila, brother, in Panama City. I had no
That's next
voice,
to Club Caligula.
right next door to it. And I had no voice because I was walking around all week doing my Stone Cold impression to anybody that would listen. So I couldn't talk at all. So I'm going to school in Grand Rapids at Grand Valley. We drive back from Panama City. Then I drive all the way to Detroit to go to Raw. Then come back. Then Friday, I went to WrestleMania 18 in Toronto. So, but it was like the greatest ever. I don't remember a ton about this show, just that everybody on earth was there. But what I do remember is what I think is, at the very least, the most star-studded, unarguably, the most star-studded main event in the history of Monday Night Raw, and maybe all of WWE.
Maybe all of in wrestling history. There's no,
Hall, Nash, Hogan taking on The Rock and Stone Cold in a handicap match. I'll never forget it. Hogan pins The Rock clean. Now, I wasn't putting 2 and 2 together back then, maybe because the rules were always different for the NWO. So, like when, normally on the go-home show, if one guy goes over, well, that means the other guy's going to win at WrestleMania. The rules don't apply to the NWO, so I wasn't thinking.
Rules and bones are meant to be broken.
They're meant to be broken, brother. And I wasn't thinking like, oh, this means The Rock's going to beat Hogan. I wasn't thinking that. So we left out of there like we were the happiest.
Oh, man.
Dude. So, that's it. There was other good matches there, but, I mean, to me, on the Mount Rushmore, I've got Hogan, Austin, Rock, Andre. And then Macho Man is like 4.5. Well, those are 3 Mount Rushmore dudes right there. And Hall and Nash are not that far behind the list. So, yeah,
especially if you want to start arguing tag teams.
Oh,
I think outsiders are on the Mount Rushmore of tag teams.
So, yeah, dude, that was incredible. I assume that's on your list as well. That's my number 3.
Cool. Very good pick, man.
What do you got at 2, Nick?
2, I have the summer of 97. Again, I'm not saying I think this was the greatest idea. If you're looking back at it, I don't think I would have booked this.
I didn't think it was then.
But, again, I am in the building for a history-making event. Nitro. Lex Luger.
August 4th.
Racks the Hulk, Hollywood, and wins the WCW World title. I could not believe it. And this was that era, I can't even lie. I remember I went with 2 guys, EG and NL. I'll keep their names. See, I don't want to put everybody up here. And, I'm sitting there watching, and all these guys are pouring, and Luger's going for it. And, this is how dumb because people used to do this, right? You were there.
I saw Michael Moorer do it. I was there. Michael Moorer, the boxer, tried getting in there.
Yeah, this is how stupid. I'm in the upper deck. We're on the upper bowl. I'm like, I looked at Nick L, and I goes, man, he's going to lose. We got to go. We got to get in there.
We got to get in there.
Nick NL looked at me and goes, all right, let's. And then EG goes, guys, we will get hurt bad. And then it kind of registered that, yeah, what are we doing here? We're not going to the ring. But it was a great night.
We got to help Hogan.
Yeah, we got to help Hogan, man. Like, we're not letting these guys, this is for life, brother. We're not letting him, but yeah, we went nuts in. When you just took a second and looked around, the place went nuts. All the WCW wrestlers came in the ring. They had what should have been the Sting celebration. Yeah. This kind of should have been the Sting. But again, I'm in there for history.
And Luger had racked him a couple times before, but not in singles matches for the belt.
Hogan doesn't lose.
Oh, no. Oh, never.
That's so weird. I remember that.
Yeah, because that's only like 3 or 4 times that summer that Luger had submitted him.
Oh, okay.
Weird.
Anyway, but yeah, that was my one. I think 1997, August 4th, you said, the Nitro, because, again, it was, and I think people remember it. I don't think you have to say, you just say, do you remember when Luger racked Hogan for the title? If you're a wrestling fan of that era, you remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, I have that at number 2 as well. Remember, and that's the first 3-hour Nitro. That is Nitro number 100. At the Palace of Auburn Hills, the former home of the Detroit Pistons. This is another one. We skipped school to go, once again, to Ticketmaster. There is no online. You can't get them on your phone. You had to skip school. We went to Ticketmaster outside of Hudson's. For you kids out there, that is now Macy's and whatever. So they had a Ticketmaster there. We get them. Some lady in front of us was dinking around forever trying to figure out where she wanted to sit for whatever she was buying tickets for. We could only get second row by the time we got there. Once again, $23 to sit in the second row.
$23, man.
So I'm there.
We just paid $160 which were great seats in Grand Rapids.
But we're in the corner in row N.
Yeah.
And here I'm in row 2 for $23.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're sitting there, and it was great for me because we were on TV a number of times. The Nitro girls had just shown up the week before this, so I had a sign that said the Nitro chicks want me. They put it on TV right at the top of the show. Then later, you've probably seen it now on the Monday Night War. Apparently not. Kimberly doesn't call me anymore. Yeah, she hasn't called me in a while.
Yeah.
Like 30 years. So then you've seen it on the Monday Night War, on the Open, the two guys ripping up the Monday Night Raw sign. That's me.
You're there.
That's me.
And that is so cool because you are forever on the net.
And that's why we did it. Because remember, we used to go, you would see on all the WrestleMania things, the guys that had Hulk spelled out on their shirts at WrestleMania 4 and things like that. We're like, I want to do something like that. And this is the heart of the Monday Night War. We're like, let's rip up a Raw sign. And we asked the guy, he's actually the cameraman who did it, was the guy during the past Super Bowl that they honored because it was like his 30th Super Bowl. That's the guy who put us on.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and he waved us over after one commercial. We asked him before. He waved us over during whatever it was, the second hour or whatever it was. He said, okay, 3, 2, 1. When this red light comes on, go to work. So we did. And anyway, we thought that was going to be forever, memorialized forever. It took them 25 years before WWE finally found it, but they did. They found it, and they put it on.
Was that a better memorable moment than me and you getting escorted out of the front row after we tried to sneak up? Or because that's on television, that's on TV too.
Which time?
The Goldberg. Yeah, that's true.
There was also a Bailey incident, which we got moved.
No, that was the one when we were patting ourselves looking for tickets. We don't. You're like, where's your
tickets? That was at the Goldberg show.
Yes,
when he jackhammered, they did a Tuesday Nitro taping, and there was like 2 whole rows.
They cleared out after Nitro left.
Completely empty. And we're like, look at all those seats. Let's go sit down there. You can see us walk down. And our friends saw us do it. They were watching. You see 2 guys walk down, sit right in the middle.
Seconds later,
somebody comes up, says something. I put up a sign that said, like, Ryan with my arrow pointed down. Seconds later, hey, where are your tickets? And you can see us
you are like
faking.
Like,
and then you see the 2 guys walk back up the side.
And then they job us.
They made everybody move down.
Come down after. Come on in and fill it up. We're like, what? Come on, guys! Like we were just sitting there.
That was just a great show, though. DiBiase turns on the NWO at that show and joins the Steiners. DDP fought Flair. JJ offers Sting a contract to fight Hennig, and he turns it down. He rips it up. Remember that? He was standing in the aisle.
Is that where he points at
the Hogan versus
that's classic. That's great, too, yeah.
Dude. And then the Luger-Hogan match. Of course, we're NWO, but you're there for a big moment. So, dude.
Good show.
Incredible show. Never forget it. Last one, Nick. Number 1
You've
on
already
your
said
list.
Because you can't put those 5 guys in a ring. It's that Raw before WrestleMania 18. Ryan, there's only one other match that tag match that I've ever seen so much star power in the ring at the same time, and that's SummerSlam 88. That is still talked about today as arguably the greatest main event in Raw history.
Yeah.
And when you're saying these are why I chose my events. They're legendary, unforgettable.
Yeah.
And to me, I can't thank. It's a former girlfriend got me those tickets. Can't thank her enough, man.
Right.
She bought me a ticket and 2 others to take. 2 of my buddies, and I took you and who else went?
Ed.
Me, you, and Ed went.
And had a couple of our other buddies were sitting one section over.
No planned. We did not plan that. And had just the time of our and Hogan won. Hogan clean. I mean, and the place kind of sat there stunned for a minute.
But they were NWO, that crowd.
Yes.
Detroit's always NWO.
When you try to put 5 guys in the ring today that can match those 5 guys, you can't do it.
It's tough.
Roman,
you
Cody.
can fill in for Hall and Nash, but that's it. You can't put 5 current guys.
No, that's what I said. There's no way.
Because you got the 3 best of all time already, 1, 2, 3.
There it is.
You can't beat them.
You can't.
You can take 4, 5, and 6. Well, it ain't as good as 1, 2, and 3.
You got it.
So
that's my number 1 greatest event I've ever been to is the Nitro before WrestleMania 18. The NWO takes on Austin and The Rock.
yeah, and I'll give a couple honorable mentions, and I'll start right there. WrestleMania 18 did not make my top 5. Even though it had the greatest match that I will ever see, ever be a part of, greatest crowd reaction I will ever be a part of. There's no possible way anything's going to beat Rock against Hogan. There's absolutely no way. That was just incredible. I'm so lucky to have been there for that. I think the rest of that show stinks. And I know there's a lot, well, that's the Attitude Era. How do you think? No, I think it stinks. I think it's actually not good at all. I don't think that's a good WrestleMania. Go back and watch it. And then you say, well, you put the Cena thing on there from the other day, and that's just basically one moment. The whole show was probably better than WrestleMania 18. I mean, dude,
I don't hate as much
Edge
as
and
you,
Booker
but
T are fighting over a shampoo commercial.
Yeah,
dude. It's not good, dude. And
It sits in the middle for me, but that match is incredible.
Dude, and if I could have easily put that at number 1 just based on that match, but I didn't. I got it number 1. WrestleMania 39, which I've talked about before. I'm not going to break down the whole card.
Wasn't there, but it would have been there.
Specifically night 1.
Yeah.
I don't have any cool stories about WrestleMania 39 like some of those other ones. You know, we planned on going. We went to L.A. It was a good time. It was awesome. But, yeah, specifically night 1 where you had Seth Rollins, Logan Paul. The Mysterio match is one of my favorites of all time. The main event was freaking great. And then you had that Rhea and Charlotte match as well. I just thought top to bottom, that is the greatest night of wrestling I've ever been to.
I think that's a top 5 WrestleMania.
It might be. It might be. It very well might be. And being a Roman guy and seeing that crowd, the shock, it was freaking great. Unbelievable. Man, do you have any off the top of your head? Any other?
It'll just be special. Not great, special to me. I've only been to one WrestleMania, and that was
33.
33 with you and Jeff. Had a great time, and just because it was WrestleMania. I also really enjoyed Scott Hall returning on Nitro in Saginaw.
A couple good things there. There was a house show in Saginaw that I went to, and I think like 2018. It may have been even before that. It was probably the best all-around night of wrestling I've been to. Rusev fought Cena at that. There was a couple other matches that were really good. AJ and KO fought at that. They were fighting over the U.S. title.
Yeah.
And then I have the Hogan Sting steel cage that you mentioned. Yeah, those are probably the best ones.
Great shows
that I've been to. Anything else, Nick, before we wrap this up?
Like I said, and it's always, and you know what? I guess it's a good lesson we learn talking about live shows. That is why you go, because in wrestling, you never know what's going to happen. And again, I cannot reiterate enough. If me and you were sitting here, I would still be punching myself in the head saying, I just missed one of the greatest promos in the history of the wrestling business. Yep. And I'm glad we went.
We appreciate you for being here, taking the time
Thank
to
you
do
for
it.
having me.
Appreciate you for sitting here and watching it. Please let us know what's your favorite shows. What's the best thing you've been to? Especially people that are watching from out of town. You know, if you live in New York, tell us the best show you've ever been to from over there. We would love to see that in the comments. Let us know.
And was Ryan right or wrong on the questions I threw at him? Like, what do you feel? You know,
how are they doing right now? Let us know what's working, what's not working. We would very much appreciate that, as well as if you could hit like and subscribe. That helps the algorithm, that helps other people see it, and it helps everybody out and makes this show bigger and better. All right, that'll do it for us right now. Job, guys. Out.
You smell something, it's us, because we're the stuff.